Good morning, you're to WINN FM 98.9, and I think I'm having some technical difficulties. Is it my mic, Trent, or is it me? Because it's just beep, boop, 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 boop. Okay. Well, I think we're hearing, I think I'm hearing myself now, which is better. Because the thing is, if you're not hearing yourself, you tend to throw you off some and make you say things that you thought you'd have said before, or say things that you don't want to say. Well, good morning. You're in tune to WINN FM 98.9 on your radio dial. It's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. I think I'm having some mic issues. I think I would have to shift the mic. Trent, what is happening? Let's switch the mic and see what is the problem. Okay, I think good. It's better. It's the mic. It's Friday, and I think it's the mic itself is excited because it's Friday, and I suppose everything happens on Friday. Everybody let down their hair, let down their. Normally, when you're very cautious, you tend to let down everything, and I think the mic would have let me down. I think that's what happens normally. Well, it's Friday. It's time for Your View. Your View is a program that is hosted on WINN FM every Friday morning around 10 o'clock. We're a little late. That is because of little situations, but we're going to try to make up. We have a very interesting topic that I want to discuss. Topics, I think that is going to be. But let's talk about us on a Friday morning, and let's talk about what's happening here in St Kitts and Nevis. We know COVID is a reality. We have seen what is happening now. The whole world is starting to go on shutdown again. People are still confused about what the virus is doing and what the virus is about. I've been listening to Euro News, that is it's in England. I've heard about the situation they have there. They were talking about some situations where children, even after they've been affected and they have been they've recuperated and thought that they have overcome the virus, they still have some long-term side effects, fevers, and sometimes can be fatal. So we have to really take this virus serious. We don't know, nobody seems to understand what is happening. Serious mutations. We think that we're dealing with one thing, the other things that we're dealing with. The virus, the vaccine is out there. We see that it's now in the Caribbean. I saw Barbados is giving out theirs, Dominica is sharing, Anguilla is sending up some. St Kitts is yet to come. I like the position that we have taken. Wait and see what is going to happen, and then we will decide whether or not we are going to indulge. But for those of you who think that it's the right thing to do, follow your heart and do it. And those of you who have reservations, just keep an open mind and make sure at the end of the day you do the thing that is right, because the idea is to curb the spread of this deadly virus. It's not a joke. It is very, very serious, and the idea is to see how we can curb it and how fast. Information is not clear, but at the end of the day, we just have to do what we have to do. And like I said, if you're not going to take the vaccination, please, please, please adhere to the necessary protocols. That is, make sure that you're social distancing 6 feet apart. You have to make sure that you wear your mask whenever you're out in public. Sanitize, wash your hands. It is what you have to do. You have to definitely do this, because the virus is not a joke, and I think it's a very, 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 very small country with a very small population. And so in a few months, if we have community spread, then St. Kitts would have been history. So let's do what we are supposed to do. Protect the elderly, the young people. We thought they were not being affected, but we now recognize that virus is no respecter of persons. So let's do what we think that is the right thing to do, so that we stay on the course and continue to be the envy of our neighbors and internationally. Everybody wants to know what we're doing and how come we can keep the virus away from us. But it's the fact that we are doing what we're supposed to do. People are complying. Government has very rigid rules. I want to thank the NEOC for a job well done. And that's all we can say on the virus. It's just in order for you to control it, we have to do. Containment is, sorry, it's everybody has to do their part, and that's what it is. Oh, but that's what I had to say about the virus. It is just for you to remember that this is the weekend, and it's Valentine's weekend. It's the weekend where all lovers come out, and people, like I said, you cast all protocols aside. No, because you don't want to love for one day, you want to love for eternity. And if you're so much in love, I suppose you want to have an extended longevity of your love life. So therefore, you have to even practice more, exercise caution, and do the things that you're supposed to do. Recognize that you can cook at home, and a romantic dinner doesn't have to be outside. I mean, I'm not saying bad for Trent and his restaurant, but I'm just saying that, even you're going to go out to have a romantic dinner, make sure that you adhere to all protocols. And that's what it is. This morning I have with me, oh my gosh, my heartthrob. She is my little heartthrob. She has been since she was a little girl, and now she's a grown little girl still for me, but people look at her as a grown woman, or she doesn't look a day older from the day I saw her at around 4. So it's just how she, I suppose, manage and look after herself. Jamal, no, you're no stranger to St Kitts. Everybody know you are in pageantry. You had one of the most beautiful voices that anybody could have listened to, but you have left us at an early age. But you're back. It's Jamal.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Jamal is back. She's been, like I said, one of our talented young woman that we have. St Kitts is filled with talent, trust me. And it's so she has so much talent that she's still trying to find out which one she really wants to take on for the rest of her life. But let me tell you, this young lady is very talented, not just talented. I'm so proud of you. She's my baby that has grown up, but she's still my baby. But I'm very, 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 very proud of her. She has done made us proud. She's no longer living here. She lives presently, I think it's in Miami, not think. She lives in Florida. And because I don't say Miami and Florida because it's same, basically the same. But every time I say that, people say, no, I don't live in Miami. I live in Florida. Oh, well, she lives in Florida. And but she hasn't stopped doing the good things that she's doing. She still can sing. You never lose that, right, Jamal?
No, you don't.
Okay, good. She still can sing. She has extended. Let's talk about the situation first before we start talking about products. What I've realized here in St. Kitts and Nevis and on a whole, women, when I look at them internationally, regionally, and locally, we recognize a lot of our young women have issues with self-esteem. Makeup is the order of the day. People are afraid to show who they really are. So you see somebody today and see them tomorrow, and because they don't look the same. Why? Is it the makeup that's why the makeup? Why makeup is such a big thing now?
I think, well, personally for me at least, when I was growing up, I was exposed to women who took care of their skin without the influence that we see today, without social media, without the influence of Americans telling them what to do or how to do it. From taking things like avocado and making a facial mask, using things like oatmeal, honey, milk, things like that.
Aloe, which we have it prevalent here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then what I realized is that as time passed by and we began to get more exposed to what's going on in the West, all of a sudden these trends became our trends. And I think that what happened is, instead of focusing more on skin, the health and care of the skin underneath, people just started looking at makeup as a fix-it, a Band-Aid, so to speak. So instead of really focusing on fixing your skin, it's like, well, I have this makeup to go to, so I'm just gonna do that, instead of really focusing on the health of the skin.
But you know what I noticed though, when you take the makeup off, and most people who wear makeup, I see that. I don't know if because of the fact they're not cleaning it off properly, or it's because of the fact that they're allergic to it, but because they can't do without it. Everybody wants to be somebody else every day. You want, just like you change your clothes, a different outfit, you have a different face. I mean, it's becoming very serious that you can't seem to identify people. The mask is bad enough, but then under the mask, there's another mask, and so you can't seem to identify people.
Yeah.
And young people has taken early to that trend of making up, the long eyelashes, the foundation, and then the big building that they will put on top there, because it's what it is. It's a property that is erected on that small little area space, and you can't seem to identify who's behind it. Is it because of the low self-esteem? What it is?
I think you just said it, though. I think you just actually hit it by saying there's a mask under the mask, because that's exactly what it is. It's people not really figuring out who they are and really loving their identities as yet. And so it's very easy to adapt someone else's identity, which happens to now be the influencers on social media, Instagram. And then the more you look at these women that, you know, the way they look, their appearance looks so out of reach, it starts to slowly depress you, because you're trying to look so much like them, but you just can't find yourself really getting to where they are. And a lot of the times these influencers are paid to be doing what they're doing. Their job is to influence you to buy into something. And the reality is what you see out there is not real life, because these people don't even use half of the things that they use. You might be spending your time scrolling, looking at someone on social media who's, for example, shown that they've taken a fitness journey. And you're trying so hard, and instead of focusing on your efforts, you're focusing on the fact that you haven't achieved that person's body type as yet. So I think that that's the problem, just being able to come into your own, loving who you are, accepting who you are, and thus not feeling the need to wear this mask. I think the makeup is a way to kind of shield themselves, almost a protection mechanism, because they're not necessarily so comfortable with who they are yet. So they prefer for the world to see an image that they think is more acceptable, which is what's on social media and the internet.
I suppose that's why you have so many young girls who are suffering from anxiety and depression, because that is exactly what it is. I mean, it couldn't have been explained better. Is that you are looking at other people and hoping that you can be that, and trying, not just hoping anymore, but trying to be that person. So you go out of your way, you destroy yourself in the process, not realizing that's what you're doing, because that's what the makeup does. A lot of people are using it, they don't know how to apply it properly, and at the same time, they're not protecting their skin. These makeup are filled with parabens, they're filled with all kind of petroleum. They don't even know that that's part of it in there. Things that are very toxic, and so when you put it on your skin, it causes breakouts, and then you want to hide the breakout. You create the breakout, and then you want to hide the breakout, and you use more makeup, and then you become a person who cannot walk on the outside without makeup. It is, and I, you know what? The sad thing about it is that they don't realize it. It's just that I want to look that way. I want to look good, not realizing that you forever would have to be paying a high price. Because at the end of the day, some people end up with contact dermatitis. They have these acnes, and they have blemishes, and it's caused by the stuff that you're putting on your face. We have natural stuff that we can use. I remember the days where, like you said, the avocado mask, the aloe. Aloe was a big thing because you had not an alternative, and you just put the aloe on, and the next morning you wake up and you walk up with a face wash. Sometimes I have issues because I have to remember when I wash my face, because that's the only thing I do. Some plain old water, and I wash my face, and I'm really good, because I have a sensitive skin, and there are a lot of people who have sensitive skin, and they're not even aware of the fact that they have sensitive skin, because people come to me all the time, what can I do to take these things out? I'm like, what? So then you have to wipe off the makeup. I said, start with that first. Stop wearing the makeup. Give your face a chance to breathe, because it has to breathe. If it's just like you, if you don't take that breath, you're going to die. If you don't take that breath, your cells are going to die. The face is not breathing properly. You're killing it slowly with all of that makeup that you're putting on your face. That's what is happening. Moisturizing your lips, I don't have a problem with that. But these foundation, and then after the foundation, then you have to put on you have to run the blocks, and after you run the blocks, then you have to plaster, and then you have to paint. It's a lot of things. It's so much things. I mean, it's like construction when you're doing that.
When you look at it, you really have to give them their props. So it takes a lot of commitment to to really pull off some of that sometimes. When I came back a few years ago, I was really impressed because I saw what these girls were able to do with their faces. I still have yet to master being able to, as they say, beat my face. I have no idea how to do that. But the problem isn't 100% just the makeup. I think it's more, I put this on the consumer, because I think not just skincare, but overall healthcare is your responsibility. And I think that we've become so comfortable putting that in the hands of the cosmetics industry and what our favorite singer or actor is wearing or using, that we've just kind of become complacent. I would see people in the grocery store or in the pharmaceutical aisles, and they're grabbing makeup and skincare products, and no one is reading the ingredients.
Never do.
They're focusing on the packaging and not what's at the back. And the back of a product is where you're going to find the truth of that product. And as Black people, we need to understand that a lot of the times these products are marketed toward us, but they're not even being tested on women who look like us. So they're not necessarily made for our skin types, but they definitely have no problem taking our money regarding to marketing those products. So I think that's the problem, is that if we focus more on what's inside of a bottle, then we'll be doing ourselves a huge favor.
But you see, it's obvious that they don't really care because they write exactly what's in there, but they put all those big words that you can't seem to understand what they mean, and you just like, okay, you don't even know. Reading it wouldn't even make sense because you don't understand. You don't even understand the big words that they have, and they're all big words. And doesn't it say something though? Wasn't it designed to fool us and let us believe that okay, it's all good because the words are big, and because the words are big, it means that inside the stuff is good.
So even that is a little bit of a misconception, and I think that it's done on purpose.
Yeah,
because
that's what I'm saying.
if you convolute the playing field and you confuse people, then, then people just start going, you know what, I'm just going to use what I like. If it works for me, then I don't even care what's in it. Because a lot of the times, this happened to me as well when I was, trying to formulate my stuff. You'll come across certain big words. Like I remember one time coming across a product called like polyglycerol, like polyethylene or polyoleate 4, and I'm like, what is that? And then by the time I uncover what it was simply a byproduct of vegetables. Mm-hmm. So what they do sometimes is they know that we've already been programmed to run away from those big words. So sometimes they'll actually hide the fact that there are clean and good ingredients with those big words and fool us with the small words, because like you said, we'll run away from those really big words sometimes, and then we're comfortable with seeing words like alcohol, fragrances. Those words don't scare us.
No.
Those are some of the most dangerous words on the back of an ingredients list.
Yeah, but you see, people don't know that because what they do is they use that as a big broad heading. Mm-hmm. So essential oils, nobody knows in there. Herbs, you don't know what herb they have in there. Mm-hmm. Fragrance, what is in there?
What are the components of
what are
that
the exactly? And those are the things. Even you notice the same thing with drugs
and food.
Now they're having those big words in there instead of just saying simply what it is. It's because it is designed for the ordinary man who's going to consume it. They're not going to read it. Mm-hmm. The minority would read, but even those who are reading still wouldn't have good understanding of it. But I always say, if I can't read a word, then I'm not going to use it. And that's me. That's one reason why I don't use makeup, because the words are too big. So I can't seem to understand them. So therefore, I'm not going to put it on my face. And then, I mean, at the end of the day, when you're having a reaction, because there's so many things that are in there that you don't know what you're reacting to. And and like I said, we are so sensitive now because children are not the same like how they were then. They're not born the same way. They're born with myriads of problems right now because the way we eat, it does affect our babies inside of our stomach, and they come out with all kind of allergies. Dermatitis is a big thing right now. Eczema is a big thing because gluten is another thing, and all the foods are that way. And we are not breastfeeding anymore. We're just forcing our children on these formulas. And so therefore, as you become teenagers and they're ready to use those makeup, the skin is already fragile. And then they start using makeup that has things in there, like for example the dyes that are in food, they're also in the makeup, and they're allergic to them in the food. And then it's going to obviously they're going to allergic to them in the makeup. But people don't think that whatever you put on the skin, your body has to absorb that. Yes. So you walk around all day with toxins and poison on your face, not realizing that your liver is taking a hit, your kidney is taking a real hit, because these things are very foreign and the body can't seem to digest them. And so they stay in there, and then we ask ourselves, how come so many people dying from cancer? That it's just not the food. It's not just the food that you eat, but it's the makeup that you wear, and the dyes in your clothes, the stuff that we put in our hair. I mean, it's a lot of things that pose this problem. But the young people nowadays, I realize that they are so, it's as soon as 13 and 12, and this is no biggie to the dance theaters and the arts, but you see children as young as 5 and 6 when they're dancing, that they have to be made up for the camera. And I have had a problem with that, and I still think it's a problem. I think that why do you have to look so pretty when you're already pretty? You're beautiful. So why do you have to look so pretty? Yeah. And I think that is one of the problems that we have, that children are exposed so early to make up that day. My granddaughter, she's 2, and she comes and she said, Grandma, can I have my nail polish, or can I have some makeup? And she's only 2. And you do these things, and children think that in order for you to look pretty, you have to wear these things to look pretty. But you do look pretty because you have red and green and yellow and orange matching. So it's a kaleidoscope of pretty colors. So you do look pretty, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you look beautiful. And I think that is one of the problems that we have, is that our young people are so not in tune with themselves that they want to be, just like you said before, they're emulating other people, not having an idea. I mean, you look at somebody walking down the road, but they're not real. Because when they take off that face, they know who they are. Yeah. And it's so strange that people can. My daughter was made up for a dance recital. And when she walked into the room, I didn't know. I was waiting for her to come again. When the person walked into the room, I was waiting to see what she was going to look like. But then I realized it was her. And I'm like, girl, I couldn't believe it's just such a difference that makeup makes sometimes.
Yeah. Well, the argument that you'll probably get is most people are in such denial about it that they will tell you, I wear makeup for myself. I don't wear makeup for the world. I don't wear makeup because I'm insecure about the way I look. But then you ask them, leave the house without your makeup one day. And how do you feel about yourself on that day? Do you feel like your confidence level is lower? Would you avoid going to certain places or being seen by certain people? And that's really the test, because you see that confidence boost the moment their face is made up. So that in itself tells you something. They feel better when they're not necessarily being themselves. So it comes down to being comfortable being yourself. It's the same thing with things like alcohol. If you have to be liquored up to have a good time and you just don't feel like you can have a good time without it, then you really have to ask yourself, a really deeper question there and reflect on that, because nothing really should be the reason why you come into yourself and feel better or worse about yourself. That's something that should just be inside of you.
It's true. A lot of people have to be under the influence. And those people who talk about, I'm not being made up for anybody. It's because I want to do it. I want to feel good about myself. And so you hide. And when you get inside by yourself, off comes the makeup.
You take it off.
Yeah, so
and that's when you're by yourself. So if it's for you.
If you're doing it for yourself, then when you're with yourself, you have to take it off. And when you're going to be the presence of others, then you have to put it on. It's not just having a discussion though, Jamal. I want people to understand this though. We are beautiful people. We have to accept who we are. Yeah. Makeup is not going to change it. And that is why I say people become depressed. Because after the makeup comes off, sometimes you don't feel like making up. You have to rush out and you have an interview for a job. You didn't have the time to put on all the stuff that you would have put on. And then you get there and the first thing you start to feel insecure. Not the fact that you're prepared for the interview, but that you don't think that you look good enough. Yeah. And it is sad. And I know some wives who say the same thing, that when they try to put on makeup, their husband, don't put on the makeup. But then when they go out, they bring home those that are made up. But it's not, like you said earlier, it's not about the things that you put on so people can see. You have to basically present who you are. Yes. And for all of us, we are very beautiful on the inside. I believe that. And I think that's a confidence that I have in me that I don't think I have to hide. Of course, yes, red lips I do wear sometimes. Because of the fact that it's, and I'm not going to use an excuse, it protects the dry lips, but like you are beautiful. I mean, there's absolutely nothing there but Jamal. It's just sometimes you use lip gloss to keep your lip moist and stuff like that, because you have the natural problems. You have the dry lips, the air is not the same. You live in a place where it can get sometimes very cold, then you suffer from chapped lips, so you can use that as protection. And there's some people who do use face creams and they use that for protection. There are people who use oil on their skin and they do that to protect their skin. There's some people who use sunscreen because they're trying to block the UV rays that they're exposed to on a daily basis. There's nothing wrong with that. So when we talk about makeup or putting things on your skin, we're not talking about those things that you use to protect your skin. Yeah. But what we're talking about a lot of times, the things that we use to enhance and that is destroying. I think that is what what we're trying to say, because people might have, the wrong impression. They would ask things. So then why would you use oil on your skin? Because you're using to protect, and and because you're otherwise exposed to toxins. You eat toxic foods, and so sometimes from the inside it comes out on the outside. But I'm saying that although you have the problems of eating fries. I'm looking at. I don't want to call because people get
you're
upset.
looking in that direction.
Yeah, that direction. But people get upset when I say these things because I remember one time I was called because I started talking about these, foods that people eat, and people make money from these things. It's a sad thing, but it is true. But you eat these oily stuff. We don't even know what they're cooking. And let me tell you, a lot of these people who are preparing the foods, they would cook the fries in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times in the same oil until it's broken down. And all of these things, and it can become very carcinogenic when I'm using that big word.
Yes,
it can be, it can create those toxins that would cause cancer. So I may not use those doctor words that would baffle. But it happens when the oil is broken down. It's bad enough that the oil is already bad before it's broken down. But when it's broken down, it creates more of a problem than anything else. And so when you eat those things, that is one of the reasons your kidney is saying and your liver is saying, please, it's too much for me to do. And it comes out as eczemas and dermatitis and acne and blackheads and all of those things that, and your body is showing you these signs, but you continue to do that. So instead of masking it, why not fix it from the outside by using things that would help to cleanse instead of just masking it, because you're putting stuff that is creating a problem on the outside, and then you're eating foods that's creating problem on the inside that's reflecting on the outside. And so these are the things but you see, it's education, and that's one of the reasons why when I think about the program that I'm going to have, I always make sure that I bring people that who've lived it, because you used to suffer from dermatitis, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had contact dermatitis terribly at one point in my life because of ingredients.
Yeah, and sometimes the clothes that we wear too, because we are allergic to. We don't even know what was in there, the dyes that they put into these clothes, that can pose some problems. So there's no way to hide, and so we have to try a little harder just to protect ourselves, because we have to wear clothes, and sometimes we don't even know, and we look at the trendy stuff because we all of us want to look trendy, and so we look at the trendy stuff, not realizing that, and everything is made in China now these days. And can you trust them though? Because they want to keep it cheap. So therefore, they have to get cheap materials, and they have to use chemicals in there so that you can keep the colors vibrant. If you notwithstanding, you wash them twice, you can't wear them again. But these are the things that affects our bodies when we wear them. It poses problems. So we have to be very careful on the things that we use. The things, eating is already a big problem, because when we are addicts ourselves, we're addicted to sugar, we're addicted to flour. As soon as you taste it, I noticed that in children, as soon as you give them something sweet, or everything you ask, what do you want? Chocolate? What do you want? Sweetie? As soon as you get that taste, that first taste, it's basically an addiction. And so we are already doing that harm to our bodies internally. Let's see how we can do to fix the problem. And that comes down to some of the products that I see that you're making. That's what, yes. Jamal is into that too. And that was not the intention why we were having this discussion. It's not to promote her products, but I've seen what she's doing. And I think, if we can talk about all the other things, we can talk about this one too. And I can promote your products if I want to. No, that's the good thing about it. But I've seen what you're doing. And as a matter of fact, I use the body oil.
I know.
It's a scent. It's the scent that makes you go like, it's oh so natural. And there's a feeling that you feel when you touch your skin. Yeah. I used to wonder if my skin can feel any better, but I'm gonna tell you, it has felt so
that's
good.
Thank you.
It's really good. And like you, I read all of the ingredients, and I was looking for things like methyl parabens and things like that, because I know parabens are one of the big things. Those things that you put under your arm and you get breast cancer. A lot of people are using those underarm deodorants. They say, they're thinking it's the aluminum. It's not just the aluminum that poses a problem. It's those parabens that you put under your skin that pose lots and lots of problems. So you go and you try to look for those stuff that doesn't have aluminum in there, but you're not looking at the other ones that said methyl parabens. Those are the ones that, and it's in everything. It's in a hair dye, I have a problem then. It's in your underarms. It's in foods. It's in clothes, the dye that you use. It's in everything, and that is for me. Those are the big problems.
Antiperspirants. That's why it says it right there. Antiperspirant.
Stop you from perspiring.
We're supposed to perspire naturally, so you don't want something to block what your body's supposed to naturally be doing. You just want to mask the smell. You don't want to stop yourself from sweating, because you're forcing your body to do something that it's not supposed to be doing naturally. You're inhibiting a natural reaction that your body is supposed to be having. The regulations when it comes to skincare products, just like with food, they are different in every country. And what I learned the hard way is that unfortunately in America, the regulations are very disappointing. In Europe, for example, there are so many ingredients that are not permitted in products, in foods, and those same controversial ingredients are accepted in the US. So in learning that, I realized that a lot of the makeup that we're using, a lot of that come from the US. So when you're using products that are coming from our country that is allowed to not disclose everything on their ingredients list, for example, they can just put fragrances and they don't have to tell you what they use to create that smell. So when you talk about the smell, for example, of the body oil, it's all natural because, I wasn't looking for something, and I had a struggle with that. Do I want something that smells really sweet and is going to be really enticing and appealing to women? Or do I care more about what's actually in the product and what's going to help people? And helping people trumped having a nice scent any day. It just happened to be that the natural oils together ended up having a really nice smell. But I'm telling you, as I sit here, if it turned out to smell like dirt, that's exactly what the smell would be like.
It smells like earth. It's earthy. We are earthlings, so why don't we want to smell earthy?
Organic and natural things are supposed to smell like they come from the earth. You're not supposed to expect for them to smell, like roses and peaches, because they're coming directly from the earth and they're completely unadulterated, and that's what I was looking for. The reason I decided that I was going to even become a formulator when it came to skincare products was because of the fact that I realized that there was not a lot of concern for people who look like me. And I wanted to have something, but as we sit here, we're talking about makeup. We're not trying to tell anybody not to wear their makeup. No, of course not.
Just be careful.
I just want to make that disclaimer. We're not trying to tell girls, don't wear makeup. But use makeup to enhance the fact that you already have skin that you're confident and comfortable with, not to hide who you are. If you have freckles, let your freckles shine through. If you have a beauty mark, let that shine through. If you have a scar that has a really interesting story behind it, let that shine through.
Exactly.
You might be surprised how many great conversations with amazing people that little scar can actually start. So it's not about hiding who we are. It's just about enhancing what we already have naturally. So I'm not opposed to makeup. I wear makeup myself. The problem is most people have mastered how to put on the makeup, but they don't know how to actually remove it. And that's where the problem lies, because whether it's clean, natural products or it's completely toxic products, nothing is going to work on your skin if the surface of your skin is not clean. So you have to start there. The most important part of any skincare regimen is to have clean skin, is your cleanser, how you're stripping the day and everything from the day off of your skin. And like most people will ask, why oils? Well, oil attracts oil. If you put oil on top of your skin and then you just run water over it, that oil isn't going anywhere.
No way.
The residue is still going to be there. Now, if you add dye to that oil, for example, what they do with makeup, foundations, there are oils in all of those makeups. They're just pigmented with color. So when you put water and traditional cleansers on top of that, it removes the pigment, it removes the color. And that gives you the impression that all of that dirt is gone because you can no longer see color. But that oil and the gunk and all of the environmental pollutants are now still trapped in that oil and making its way into your pores, clogging them and creating havoc on your skin. So when oil goes on top of oil, it simply just lifts that. It breaks it apart, it melts it away, and it just lifts it from the pores. Then you can go in with your traditional cleanser to rinse away any leftover residue. And you can start by applying any product that you want on top of that, because now your products can penetrate, get into the skin where they're supposed to, and do their job. You can't fight acne and not have clean skin, because if it's not the products sometimes. I tell people, don't always blame products. First, look at your health. Look at what you might be eating. Look at your sleep patterns. As a matter of fact, look at what you're sleeping on. How often do you change your sheets, your pillowcases? How much water do you drink? How much exercise do you do? Some people are scared of sweating. Sweating is good for you. It's like sitting in a sauna.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way to kind of get those toxins out of your body. Don't be afraid to sweat. And when you clean your skin with oils, what happens is now that ingredient or that active that's in that acne product that is meant to help clear your skin up, now that can really get in there and start working on the problem so you can see the results. But I've seen people using great products with great ingredients and they still don't see any results. And all I can think is the product actually getting under the skin? Is it really passing the first barrier of your skin to actually start to do its job? And most of the time it's not, because the skin isn't necessarily clean, because traditional cleansers remove the water-based dirt, but it doesn't remove the oil-based dirt.
And so because of that, you sat down and you thought about, what can I do? Help, and how can I come to the rescue? And like Paw Patrol, there's no job is too great and no job is too small. You sat down and you thought about the fact that oil attracts oil and oil removes oil. And you came up with those oil-based products, which is true.
I did.
If you have an oily skin and you put water in, if you have oil on your skin and you put water in it, it just slides off. And when you do that, the oil is still there and it's not removed. And people, I think that is just the smallest trick in the book, and it's the solution.
Yeah.
Because if water is not going to take it, and a lot of people, they want to apply the makeup, but they don't want to take it off properly. Just want to go into the shower and just wash your face with ordinary soap, and then they think that they're good again. It doesn't work that way.
Or they'll use those makeup wipes that are filled with harsh chemicals, and then the next day they end up with excessively dry skin.
Yep.
One of the misconceptions is that if I have oily skin, I shouldn't be putting oil on my skin. A lot of the times, those same people don't actually have oily skin. They really have dry skin. The problem is the way that their body is reacting, it's creating this illusion that their skin is oily. It actually is oily, but it's not because that's the natural state of their skin. What's happening is all those different products, the makeup wipes that contain alcohols and things like that are drying their skin. The skin starts to go into overdrive and overcompensate for that lack of moisture and oil.
Because he has to present it. When you take it away, the skin has to, because it's naturally supposed to be there.
Overproduce
so it
that
has to produce
oil.
it.
So now that dry skin is looking oily because of this overproduction of oil. But the skin is actually, in fact, dry. So if you're moisturizing your skin correctly, if you're using very hydrating products, then your skin is going to calm down. You're going to be sending a signal to those glands, those oil glands, saying, you can relax on the overproduction of oil. I got you. You don't have to do so much work. And then your skin balances out beautifully. I tell people, if you're out and about during the day and your face has a little bit of shine, stop blotting. Stop constantly removing that moisture and oil from your skin, because it's there to protect the barrier of your skin.
I have to tell Jade that as soon as she comes, she says, Sandra, please go in the bathroom and wipe your face because you're melting. Yeah, it's natural.
It's natural.
The thing is that there's nothing there to stop it from coming out, so it just comes out. Because I said to you, I do not wear makeup. I don't even know how to apply it. I really be making a mess of myself. The only thing I can apply is lipstick. I don't know how, and I don't even know why and how to put on those stuff. So if I put them on, it really would be a disaster. And nobody's going to put it on my face anyways. Because as soon as you start changing the way I look, I'm not comfortable with it at all. So I really don't like those. And I'm saying, people like it. And if you like it and it brings you comfort and it helps you, it enhances your confidence in yourself, then go right ahead and do it. But what we're saying is just make sure that when you're doing it, you're not destroying. Because when you take that makeup off and you're with yourself and you look in that mirror, it affects your self-confidence because that's the true you.
And we still want you to feel good.
Yeah, so you first you have to learn to embrace who you are, and then you can do whatever you want to do with who you are, because underneath you is a you that you're quite comfortable with.
Yes.
And so if I can walk out with a mask and I'm comfortable with it, when I take off that mask, I should be comfortable with what's under the mask. And that is the first stage. I mean, you want to get people to start to feel comfortable with yourself.
That's why I came up with the name that I came up with for the line as well, because it just hit home to me. we wanted women to be able to look in the mirror, strip down with all of it taken off, and be able to feel good about their reflection in their bare and most natural state, and just feel good about themselves.
Wow.
So bare reflection just became like, okay, this is how I feel. This is true to me. So that's going to be the name of this line.
And it's good. Bare reflection mean that it's not no additive, no preservatives. It's just enhancement. And oil does that.
Transparency.
It cleans and just, it's like it's nourishment, it's nutrients that you put on your face, and not you feed your face. You help it to be vibrant and feels good and cleans it at the same time. Not, you don't want to bog it down, just like what we do with our bodies. Instead of putting nutrients in there, we put all those toxins in there, and yet still we help our bodies. We want our bodies to fight when it's at its weakened state, because that's what we do. When you put those things on your face, when you put makeup on your face, and you're not cleaning or you're not protecting the face, it means that the makeup is gonna take it and it's gonna do whatever it wants. You start breaking down your cells, because there's nothing there to stop it from doing that. It penetrates quite easily because there's no protection there, and so that's what happens when you do that. So you have to make sure you protect your face before, or your bodies, because even those lotions that you use, anybody look inside. Look at the lotion you put on your skin, and you see parabens in there again. You see all kind of big words in there that you can't seem to understand. Petrolatum, which is petroleum, the oil that you use, the gas that you throw inside of you. It's in, and your body is getting that. And when you go to the gas station, I can't stand the scent, but you put it on your skin every day.
And not all oils are created equal.
Definitely not.
You know, mineral oils are oils to stay away from, because these are the oils like you said, like petroleum, and things like that. These
and
are
when
the
you hear
oils that
mineral oils,
you think it sounds
good,
so nice,
because your body needs minerals.
It's not.
It's just, they know how to fool us.
Those are those pore clogging, like just blocking oils that will just wreck your skin.
Good. So time flies. Let's talk about one of your oil, the body oil that I am so in love with. It has that scent of plum. Oh, it's really, really nice. It feels good. You make you feel so good about yourself. Just oiling your skin and knowing what you're doing to it. You're nourishing your skin. Because people always, when you look at the lotion, it says nourishes. It doesn't. No. But when you put that oil on your skin, when I read the ingredients and I know what the oils are good for, I mean, then you understand why you should be using it. So tell us about the body oil.
So a few years back, actually, I discovered that in St Kitts. I was in Canada for 9 years of my life, and before I moved to the US, and was dealing with symptoms of eczema, which no other doctor there told me was eczema, until I came home one time and went to see a doctor. Actually, it was Dr. Ferdinand.
Yeah.
And right off the bat, she gave me a prescription and was like, oh, this is eczema. I thought I had like weather heats or something like that. And ever since then, I've been trying to treat my eczema whenever I would have flare-ups. And I thought there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a way to not just combat this when I have flare-ups, but there has to be a way to inhibit these flare-ups. And again, it came right back to oils, because it's not just the oil, Sandra. It's this concept of something so natural being extracted from the plants, from the fruits, from the seeds of these things from nature. And when I put the oils together for the Sunshine Radiance body oil, that's the name of the body oil. And even the name of it, like, I wanted that experience of the Caribbean and something that still felt very exotic and just very radiant and hydrating on the skin. So when I was looking for the oils, I was investigating, okay, what oils are going to be, good for this? What oils are going to be really good for calming the skin, calming inflamed skin and keeping the balance in the skin? So I put all of those oils together. And the tricky part is, because I live in the US, although this product helps my eczema and has helped with a lot of our other customers with that, we can't actually state that this is one of the benefits of it, because with the regulations there, it now borders that line of the FDA, where now they might consider it a drug, because you're saying it's going to help with this condition, this medical condition. So that's one of the ways that they keep small businesses down as well, and they keep a cap on natural companies and companies that are really trying to help people to have better options. they're not the popular options because the celebrities aren't the ones that are out there pushing them, because you have the regulators constantly saying, well, you can't say this. There might be a fantastic natural product out there, for example, for dark circles under your eyes. But because they can't say that it's going to clear up your dark circles, they simply have to advertise it as just a natural product that helps to beautify under the eyes. You have to be so careful with the way you word things. So I was really proud when we completed that formulation, and I realized over time that it really did help with my eczema, and it's smelling nice just happened to be a bonus.
Well, I don't know what it is, because your skin is really, really radiant, and I mean, it glows. It's so different, and one of the things is that you don't have to tell people a lot of things about it, because you represent exactly what you sell. It's flawless skin that you have, and you only use your own product, because a lot of people talk about they make products that they don't use themselves.
Exactly.
It's like the Chinese don't eat the food that they cook, and it says a lot. I mean, but when you can advertise for yourself, because anybody see you would ask you, what do you use on your skin? It's the first thing they're gonna ask, because it's very, very radiant. It glows, so it's obvious that you're doing the right things. Just like you say, it's not just about putting something on your skin. It's about other things that you have to take into consideration. Jamal, we're running out of time, and it's not fair.
Because there's
so much. Yeah, definitely. I think we're gonna follow up again next week. I just hope, because it has to happen. Because there's so much other things we could talk about.
Yeah.
It's not just about the things that you put on your skin, but also you have to be very careful of the foods that you eat. Look at me, and the people always look at me and think that you always want to tell people about. I do eat healthy, and it shows, because it reflects in my complexion. It shows my skin I don't have issues, but I'm fat. And people were like, but if you eat so healthy, because there are other situations that you have. But I'm not going to go out and tell people, I have a situation that's the reason why I'm this. I am happy with who I am. I don't care. I know that when I look in the mirror, I see me, and I'm quite comfortable with who I am. And that is one of the problems. People have to learn to embrace themselves. We are not what people see. We know who we are, because we can show people whatever we want to show them. We can be whoever people want us to be. But within yourself, when you are true to yourself, that I find that is really the answer to all of your problems. Yeah. I am quite comfortable with who I am, and you have to be even more comfortable, because I know, girl, you attract everybody and everything. Because just looking at you, everybody wants to. I mean, I just say I have a good-looking guest, and everybody. You see, I couldn't get that young man out of here, because he just wants to stay in here, and he wants to see you, and he wants to talk, and he wants your telephone number, and that is what people see, and it's all natural. And it's just that. So people think when you are quite comfortable with yourself, you exude that kind of confidence, self-confidence. People look at that, and that is what I want our young women to start to do. Start feeling good about yourself.
Yes.
Stop thinking that you can enhance the way you look by using the right things, and so you get the natural glow, the real glow that you're supposed to have, and not one that you can take off and put on, one that comes naturally. And in order to do that, you have to use the right products that you have.
And when you're kinder to yourself, it's easier to be kinder to others as well. And I think that's the transparency that comes through.
So true. And Jamal, there are other things I want to talk to about, because you're getting ready to you've written your book. Yeah. You're getting ready to publish that book, and that is the story that I want to hear. So can you come back next week, please?
I will come back next week.
Okay, good. There's so much more that it's just to show people, as young people, there's so much you can achieve as a Kiddishan.
Don't let anyone put you in a box.
And as an ordinary Kiddishan girl, there's so much more that I'm listening to you, and I'm learning so much from you. Your eloquence. I have the opportunity to just sit here and stare and just take in and realizing that I have a young daughter who can, if she wants, not emulates, because I don't believe in that. You just want to be yourself. But if you want, that encouragement, then they can look at you and see that, I can get there too. Yeah. Because this is something that I want to do. And like I said, there's so much other things that I want to talk about that you can help. And it's just about encouraging young people, inspiring them. You don't have to look at the Beyoncés and the other names. I don't even know them, because I don't look at them. The social media influence, the recent Kwan story. We have it within ourselves, and we just have to bring them out and not look at people who are already famous, those celebrities who who are very, for me, are infamous, because I always think that their behavior is not one that one would want young people to emulate. And we have people who are positive, like you, who people can not look at, but can listen to and find that they can get there themselves. And that's the idea of the show this morning. That's the reason why I brought you here, because I know that you can be such an influence to our young people. And the fact that you're homegrown is another thing, and people can see that they themselves can be that. I wish I could look around St Kitts and see a lot of young women walking around looking like you, all natural, and have the same ideas that you come, and realize how creative we are, because from what you had, you came up with what you have now. And that can definitely, I'm infringing on our people's time, Jamal. It's 4 minutes past 10. I hope the clock is too fast, but we definitely have to go, and next week definitely I want to follow up, because there's so much other things that we have to talk about.
I will be back, God willing.
Let's remind people that it's a weekend. Thank God it's Friday, and then we know Valentine's is coming up, and everybody wants to have that love moment, and people who are in love wants to enhance it on that day. I don't know why, because I thought every day was a day of love, but everybody wants to take that special time to recognize that special person and want to take them out for
just make sure they're recognizing you.
And take it all for meals so that the public can see that they have that special someone on their arms. But later on they go home, and then the next day they be in their old self again. Where's all that love gone? And that's another song you're gonna sing after that.
Sounds like another topic.
I know, but another day. So for those of you who are in love and want to take out your special someone, make sure that you want to protect that special someone too, so that she's masked up or he's masked up, and make sure he follows the protocols of washing your hands, and make sure you're 6 feet apart. Social distancing is a must. Virus is out there, it's a reality. But anyways, do not let it cramp your style, and don't let it make you isolate you, so to speak, and stop you from enjoying yourself. But we can enjoy ourselves with ourselves, and I do hope that you would follow protocols, and let's keep St. Kitts and make St. Kitts continue to be the envy of the other nations. And everybody wants to know, what are you doing? People are complying. Kudos to you, because without you, governments can put any protocols they want in place. If you don't adhere to them, then it doesn't make sense. I want to kudos to those of you who are doing it, all of us who are doing it, because we shows that the majority of us are doing it because we have contained the virus to a minimal, and we are so grateful that has happened. Stay tuned to WINN FM 98.9. Voice is up next. My name is Sandra Quilly Atherton. I've been your host, and I look forward to doing this next week, Friday, from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock.